In a world ravaged by war and chaos, where demons roam freely and terrorize the innocent, a lone warrior wanders the land seeking revenge. This is the story of Hyakkimaru, a young man whose body was stolen by demons at birth, leaving him with only a skeletal frame and a fierce determination to reclaim his humanity. With the help of a young orphan thief named Dororo, Hyakkimaru sets out on a perilous journey to slay the demons that robbed him of his body and to reclaim the stolen pieces of his soul. But the road ahead is treacherous, and the demons they face are more powerful than anything they could have imagined. As they travel through a dark and dangerous world, Hyakkimaru and Dororo encounter a cast of unforgettable characters, from a band of misfit samurai to a powerful sorceress with her own agenda. With each battle they fight and each demon they defeat, Hyakkimaru comes closer to achieving his goal. But at what cost? Will he be able to reclaim his humanity and find peace, or will he lose himself to the darkness that lurks within him? Only time will tell in the thrilling anime adventure that is Dororo. Starting off episode 1, we cut to a birth scene. As Lord Kagemitsu Daigo waits for his wife Nui no Kata to give birth, he recalls the time he made a pact with the 12 demons in the Hall of Hell, prepared to tread the path of evil in exchange for power. When his first son is born, the demons extract their payment. The child is born without limbs, facial features, or skin. The baby is set adrift in the river and left to its fate. 16 years later, he is now a young man, traveling alone, wearing a prosthesis made by Dr. Jukai. While hunting a sludge-like demon Daiki, the young man encounters Dororo, a young petty thief being beaten by 3 men who Dororo cheated out of their goods. The demon attacks and devours the men, but the young man destroys it with blades inside his prosthetic arms. Following the death of the demon, the young man's missing skin reappears, and a demon statue in the Hall of Hell is split by lightning. Meanwhile, back in Ishikawa, Kagemitsu Daigo's second son Tahomaru returns home from hunting. However, Nui no Kata still misses her first son. Before we continue, take a moment to answer the question of the day. Which anime has the best power scaling? Comment down below for a chance to be shouted out. Now, back to the recap. Dororo, the tiny thief, accompanies the young man, who seems to be unable to see, hear, or talk. However, he has excellent sword skills, superhuman strength, and the ability to detect friendly or unfriendly beings by the color of their souls. Dororo takes the young man to a village run by a beautiful woman named Bandai and offers to slay a local monster, which rings a pilgrim bell, for a fee. While there, they meet the blind monk known as Biwahoshi, who can also detect people's souls. They discover Bandai is actually a demon who has been eating travelers, and the young man slays her. The monster reappears, ringing its bell, and a villager explains it is the spirit of the first being the villagers killed. The young man reveals his name, Hyakkimaru, to Dororo and the monk. As Bandai's statue in the Hall of Hell gets struck by lightning, Hyakkimaru regains his central nervous system, thus regaining the ability to feel pain. Meanwhile, Kagemitsu Daigo is told the Sakai clan appears to be preparing for war. The story is told of Jukai Sensei, a doctor who not only healed the sick, but made prostheses for those who had lost limbs in accidents or war. He once worked for Lord Shiba, crucifying wounded enemies until the day his loved one was killed by Shiba's soldiers, and he leaped into the sea. He was rescued by foreigners and learned how to make prostheses. One day, he found Lord Kagemitsu Daigo's abandoned and deformed infant on a riverbank. He took the child home and made special prostheses for him so he could move about and appear normal. 6 years later, Jukai gave him his name, Hyakkimaru. After Hyakimaru killed a lizard demon and his right leg was magically returned to him, Jukai realized that although the boy attracted demons, his body parts had probably been stolen by demons. Jukai inserted swords into Hyakimaru's prosthetic arms before the young man left to travel the land alone. Back in the present, Hyakimaru awakens from his sleep and tests his newly acquired ability to feel pain from killing the demon Bandai. Dororo chats with the girl Osushi while Hyakimaru stands outside, experiencing the feeling of rain for the first time. Suddenly, Hyakimaru detects a demon sword and rushes off. He encounters a man wielding the sword and only manages to defeat him by trapping the sword in his prosthetic leg. Dororo goes to retrieve the leg, but is pulled back to its owner when he touches the sword, Osushi's brother Tanosuke. Osushi takes her brother home, but he's only interested in regaining the sword. Tanosuke recalls how he was given the demon sword Nihiru, and how it changed his life in its eternal thirst for blood. Meanwhile, Hyakimaru disarms Dororo, but Tanosuke seizes the sword again and attacks Hyakimaru. This time, Hyakimaru kills Tanosuke and breaks Nihiru, which returns Hyakimaru's ears to him. Hyakimaru is having difficulty adjusting to his new hearing when he is attacked by a huge bird-like monster and is only saved by the appearance of the Biwa Hoshi. The priest tells them that they are in Sakai territory, with the clan preparing to march on the Daigo army. The next morning, Hyakimaru encounters Mio, a young woman singing a beautiful song, but he collapses from his wounds. The travelers stay with Mio and a group of orphaned children at an abandoned temple, while Mio works at night serving the Sakai troops as a prostitute. Meanwhile, the Biwa Hoshi finds a better place for them. However, it is inhabited by a demon. Despite his wounds still healing, Hyakimaru goes to fight it. The Biwa Hoshi is concerned. Hyakimaru's white aura is starting to show hints of demon red. They encounter the ant-lion larva-like demon Arijigoku, which bites off the lower half of Hyakimaru's real leg, leaving him screaming in agony. That night, Mio leaves to service Daigo's men in an attempt to make more money, and Dororo discovers the type of work she does. The Biwa Hoshi heads back to Mio's camp with Hyakimaru. His leg is half gone, but his voice has returned. Meanwhile, Dororo questions the other children about the type of work Mio does, but they are unaware. Hyakimaru slowly adjusts to using his hearing and his voice with the help of Mio. They become drawn to each other, and the red in his soul fades. Although only partially recovered, Hyakimaru returns to kill the Arijigoku demon, this time with some swords the children recovered from the battlefield. He succeeds in killing the demon, and his legs heals. However, when he and Dororo return to the temple, they find Mio mortally wounded and Daigo troops murdering the orphans because they believe Mio is a Sakai spy. Enraged by the attack on Mio, Hyakimaru goes berserk, slaughtering all the Daigo troops until Dororo intervenes, fearing Hyakimaru may become a demon himself. Later, Dororo finds some precious seed rice in Mio's hand, taken from the samurai she so despised to start her farm. After burying the dead, Hyakimaru and Dororo continue their travels. What dangers will our heroes face next? Find out on our next recap of Dororo.